Agree. Okay, this is the front of your K1 Jacobson series system. We're going to go over all the components and give you a basic overview of how it works. When you first take this apart, you hook up everything. One of the first things you do is you have your power conditioner bar at the top. You turn this on. It's going to go ahead and power up all the equipment in here except the amplifier. You'll notice that it will show anywhere between 110 to 126. Anything above that or below 110, that's cause for concern. You have two light tubes just in case it's dark in the room. You could turn that on. They're basically like Christmas light bulbs. When you're not using them, you have to turn them off. But if you have this system plugged in and stay plugged in, you always have to make sure this is off. Because even when you power this down, if this is plugged in and you have this on, it'll burn out these bulbs. Okay. The next thing you want to do when you power up the main power strip is you want to power up your amplifier. Once that's on, most often it's automatically going to go to DVD. As we talked about the hookups in the first video, you have DVD, VCD, auxiliary. We know that your DVD is your karaoke player. I even put a label there. You have DVD here, the label that correlates with the player right here. You have VCD, which is going to be your laptop cable, just in case you ever use a laptop, iPod, iPad, any type of device like that. You could just plug it in and run the sound through there. Then you have your auxiliary and the stickers here for this unit that'll allow you to run that. So you have your first unit right here, which is your dual recorder. You'll see that it has A and B. So if you're recording on A, you're going to want to be on channel A. If you're recording on B, you're going to want to be on B. So in this case, we're going to go with 1. The next item is the processor. This is always in. That's to make sure you know that it's engaged. It's pretty much set right here. You could adjust it a little bit, but for the most part, for your left and right stereo speakers, this is the low and high contour. Then over here is what's controlling your subwoofer. How far you go down determines how much high frequencies you're allowing to get through the woofer. As it goes up higher, it'll introduce more of the music and vocals as opposed to just standard thumping. And this, of course, is the actual volume of the subwoofer. Now, one of the things to note when you're doing karaoke, most often you may have this subwoofer volume completely down because the system itself, the speakers, you have your bass, mids, treble. If you keep that at 12 o'clock all the way up, it'll produce enough bass to run by itself for the karaoke, even some DJ songs. But when you're ready to party and do dancing and so forth, and you want more bass, this is when you introduce the sub into the mix. Then you have your 2 sets of microphones. You'll notice I labeled them mic 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also, you have the custom drawer. I labeled all the microphones. Has microphone covers on it, and then of course you have your remote control for the player itself. As far as running your microphones, when you turn the microphones on, you press, hold power until it comes on. It'll show that it's channel 1, and you'll see that it's channel 1 right here, which matches. Check 1 2, check 1 2. You have your main mic volume right here. Then you also have your EQ, bass, mid, and treble for your microphone. Then you have your microphone volumes. This is where you're going to control the microphone volumes. The first one is mic 1, mic 2. This is covering mic 3 and 4. So this third one is going to cover both of the latter half of the mics. And the fourth one is actually plugged into the back of the amplifier and so forth. Then you also have your echo station right here to the right, which allows you to adjust the repeat and delay, as well as the bass, mid, and treble within the echo itself. Then you have, of course, how much echo, the master echo. If I turn this all the way down, check 1, 2, now the response is completely flat. If I continue to put echo in, check 1, 2, you're going to have a lot more echo. In order to turn it back off, you continually hold it in. Now let's say you have an issue with a frequency, that it's somehow interfering and you need to change a channel. What you would do is you could either manually hold this in and change the channel, and then you have to push and hold this in and change the channel for this as well. So that goes over your microphones. Now, as far as running the player, now the drawer itself, it's going to be a little bit tight as you're closing it. It does have a set of keys that you could lock it. And as I mentioned before, when you're running the karaoke, all you're going to do is basically turn on the drive in the back. But when you turn this on, the one thing you want to see up on the screen up here is no disc. Then that's when you turn your drive on. It takes a little while for it to recognize the drive and so forth, but once it comes up, it will come up with a set of folders that will allow you to choose the karaoke songs. Now, going back to the recorder. The recorder itself, all you got to do is you take a thumb drive, put the thumb drive in there, you press record, and what it will do is it will actually say that it's ready. So you want to wait for it to say that it's ready. Once it says it's ready, then you press record again as you're initiating the song itself. Now you're able to record whatever's playing through the system as well as the vocals. And then when you're done, you could simply just play it back. And then if you have a couple thumb drives that you have a bunch of music on, you could always just put even an SD card. Put it in there. You want to play channel 1, you're pressing play for channel 1, channel B, you're pressing play for that. You'll notice that I have the record volumes no higher than this. You never want to go higher than that, or you'll hear huge distortion within the system and so forth. Now, you'll notice that the screen came up, and this is what you'll always see when it's ready. The remote control, you always want to point it towards the player. You'll point the arrow down and go ahead and concentrating on the screen. I press into the folder for the 3000 song pack that comes with this system. You'll notice the number of songs, and then from your song list you're going to pick whatever song you want, and then you're going to press enter to play it. It'll start playing it. Now, if you want to program the player with the remote control, there is a repeat button right here. You'll press repeat, and then it will turn it to continuous. And I actually have to do this again because I accidentally hit the button to open this up, but that gives you an idea of, you know, basically any little number of things that you could do to accidentally get out of the menu. So when the song started and I want to go ahead and press repeat, as you're looking at the screen, you'll notice that the continue button comes up. So now you know that you could program songs. Going back to the remote control, you basically, like if you want to program. Now looking at the screen, 3, program, 6, program. Now this is going to allow each song to play back to back. Now let's say you're doing karaoke and you know the third singer's supposed to come up, but they end up going to the bathroom. All you got to do is just press stop, and it will automatically clear it out and so forth, and go to the next song. Now if you notice, if you could pick up the sound on this sub is almost all the way down, and it's already pretty loud. That's why I mentioned with karaoke, you're probably going to want to just have it completely off and allow your speakers to do the work. But if you're bringing up the volume, like this song, even though it's karaoke, it has the bass, we could use the sub for it. So you could bring that up, bring the sub in, bring the volume down. Now remember, when you look to play back for your recorder, you have to make sure that you switch to auxiliary. Then the laptop or iPod, if you end up wanting to use that, always remember to switch that to VCD. Now you also have key control here. If you want to change the key of the song, you could change it up and down. That is on the amplifier as well as on the remote control. In addition to this, there is a remote control for the amplifier as well. Now when you're done using the system, so we'll go ahead and stop all this. Let's say you want to put in a disc. You could put in a disc by actually, there's a D/U button on this remote. When you press that on the screen, it gives you an option. Right now it's on USB device. I want to change to the DVD drive. Now it's saying disk loading because it's looking for a disc. And then you could open up the tray, put in the CD, play it, and then do the same thing when you're switching back over. And sometimes you could even have it switch back over automatically when you take the disc out. Now as far as powering down the equipment again, the amplifier went on last when you powered up the system. So in reverse mode, the amplifier is the first thing to go off. Then this. And that's pretty much it as far as your standard operating procedure for the system itself. There's a couple things noted. In this system, the laptop doesn't come with it. It just depends on how I customize the system for the customer. The speaker stands, if you notice, the customer is getting regular ones, but I decided to hook up these crank up stands so that you could see them in the video, and that'll help consumers see that there's a big difference in utilizing crank up stands as well. And that's pretty much it for the system.